Good morning. Good morning. And as you get here, make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. And I'm going to pull this up on my phone as well so that I can see what all is going on. So give me just a moment. I have a couple of little housekeeping things to do with copying and pasting the affirmation and journal prompt and getting things set up here. So let's see, where am I? Give me just a moment. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's see. Just a moment. There we go. All right. So let's see. Just a moment. There we go. Make sure you say hello and let me know you're here. Where is the. Make sure you say there hello. We go. There we go. All right. So let me move my coffee out of the way and pop this up here so I can see. All right. And have a sip of my coffee. And I will say, I'm a little disappointed in my coffee today. I well, I'm not really disappointed in my coffee. I'm disappointed that when I got downstairs to refill my cup, it had already cooled off enough that it could almost be iced coffee now. But I don't use a microwave, and I know that sounds really silly, but we don't. I actually have one. It's still sitting in the garage, and I'm not willing to just toss it in case something happens and I need it. But we don't have one in the house that we're using, and it just it even though it speeds things up, sometimes to me it takes the joy out of the process. I know that sounds silly, or maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But one of the things that I've gotten where I look for the process of creating my meals and making that enjoyable, and then when I do it in the microwave, for some reason, it doesn't do the same thing. And plus, I've done some research about the amount of radiation that emits from some of them, and so it's like, let's just don't worry about it. And if you look at it, and I'm not saying don't use a microwave, I'm just saying that's my choice. But when you research it and find out how it actually breaks down the food, because you're radiating the food, that you don't get the same nutrients. And so to me, it's like. It may take me a little bit longer to heat up some leftovers or to cook something, but I do have an air fryer and it's the Pampered Chef Instapot kind of thing. And so I have things that speed things up, but it doesn't really alter the food in the same way. And I kind of like the process. So that's what I do. All right, remember, as you get here, say hello to let me know that you're here, because I can see some lurkers over here that aren't saying hello. So say hello, and I won't say your name right now. I might change my mind, and because I'm really happy that you're here live, even though I can't see the comments here. So today, I'm actually, good morning. Hello, Raina. Good morning, Lynn. It's so good that you're here. I really appreciate it. It just changes the energy when you ladies show up so well. And there's a few gentlemen in the group. When they show up, that's great too. And I'm streaming in different places. So every now and then I have somebody show up from one of those places. And that's always a joy too, right? But my main focus is you guys and make lasting change. All right, because you are my peeps, my community, my peachy peeps. And it's always a joy to join with you in the mornings. And so today is actually, it's almost a recreation of another affirmation that we've done before. But one of the things that I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready was how resistant we become to changing things, even when we want to change. And, it's one of those, it's a natural thing that happens to us. We want to, change our professions, or we want to just have a relationship, or we want to have more money, or there's a plethora of things that we want to change in our lives. Maybe some of you, maybe it's the way you eat. You would like to have a more fit body. Um, Whatever it is that you're wanting to change, the natural instinct of your ego, your subconscious mind, is to take you back to what it knows. And so it becomes a very difficult thing to make a change and make it last. And that's why this group, Make Lasting Change, started, was because that was a thing that I saw in my life and in others. And I wanted to help to create this lasting change, because everybody has something that they're going to do at the first of the year, right? New Year's Eve, it's like, I declare that this year is going to be the best year yet. And, some people don't even last 2 weeks and they've already given up. Some people, it takes a little bit longer and then they give up. And I've recently had a couple of people that I've worked with that they get some really amazing changes, and then suddenly it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it speaks to the same thing, as we are very resistant to change, because change is the unknown. And the reason I talk about our journey being, fraught with things that come up, and we have to make changes because that's what we have to do in that moment, right? So I like to say that God, the universe, whatever your belief system is, that it does a little whisper, that you need to change something. And then it'll get a little bit louder. Then it'll get a little bit louder. And if you don't pay attention and you don't start changing on purpose, you get hit with a baseball bat. So that's when you have a health crisis, or you have a car accident, or your relationship ends, or you lose your job. And there's all these different things that can happen because it's propelling you into something else. And it doesn't always feel comfortable, right? So let me go ahead and hold on a second. I didn't realize I haven't even put up this affirmation, and I'm talking about it like crazy. So hold on a second. There we go. All right. So there is our affirmation, right? Because change is hard, like I just said. It's not an easy thing because we are used to things being the way they are. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is, it's still what you know. And your subconscious mind thinks, well, I've survived this. I know exactly how to survive this. And it reminds me, there's a movie I watched not too long ago, and I can't even think of the name of it, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. But in the movie, there's a woman who had been single for a very long time. She ends up getting involved with this gentleman. It doesn't go well. And she looks at him and she says, before you showed up, I knew how to do that life. I knew exactly how to do that life. But now I'm in this place and I don't know how to do this. And that's what happens to us a lot of times. Even though we might be, let's go with relationships, even though we might be lonely and we feel like, I'd really like to have someone in my life. And this is something that I am working with right now, I'll tell you, is that then we think of all the times that we've been in relationships and maybe it didn't go well, and maybe we chose wrong, or we thought it was right and then it was wrong, and all of these things. And so we make this declaration. Not necessarily do we make it consciously, but our subconscious says, oof, I don't know that I want to endure all this unknown stuff. So let's be happy here. And so this is something that we do in all areas of our life. Whether it's our relationship with food, our relationship with ourselves, with someone else, we figure out ways to, good morning, Heather. We figure out ways to not have to actively change, right? So today's affirmation, and I want you to really think about this, I embrace change however it shows up for me, because change, even when it feels uncomfortable, is a growth process. And if you can start looking at change as this is something that I'm going through, that I'm learning from, and there's something that'll come out of it that will make me stronger, better, more knowledgeable, happier. I just have to go through this. So it's kind of like when you're on a trip and suddenly your car breaks down, and so you have to do something different to be able to get going on your trip. It's kind of like that, because you still have that destination to go to. It's just now there may be a little bit of a delay. Maybe in that process, you end up meeting somebody that's amazing that you never would have met otherwise. Maybe it is because if you had kept going on that path, that it would have taken you longer to get there. Whatever the reasons are, there are so many reasons why we get delayed in our process. And like I said, change. Have you guys been experiencing change and it feeling uncomfortable? And if you have, just put a 1 in the comments, or you can say me, whatever, but just share. Is change something that keeps coming up for you as something that you sometimes just want to avoid? And I remember one time many years ago, I don't even remember what it was I was aspiring to do or to be. It's been so long ago. And I remember seeing, yes. I remember seeing a friend of mine's brother, him and his wife. They seemed to be as happy as they could be, but it was like they didn't grow. They didn't aspire to anything more. It was like they were just in this place, and I didn't want to be in the place that they were. But in some parts of my mind, I thought, oh, that would be so good to not want to do more, because change is hard. And sometimes it seems daunting. It's uncomfortable. And then you have the fear of failure, and you have all these things come up for you. And I thought to myself, oh, I almost was envious of the fact that they didn't have any aspirations for anything, because they just seemed like they didn't care. And obviously they didn't. And so I wouldn't have lived where they lived. I wouldn't have been happy with the car that they were driving. I wouldn't have been happy with their life. But I was still envious of it in that moment, because I was unsure and I was scared. I wanted to do something different. And it was like, I just didn't know how. And it made me want less. And, maybe that's been you in the past. It's definitely been me more than once. Right. And because I think, and there's one of my friends, she says, new level, new devil is what she says. And to me, I don't really like that, because I like looking at a new level, new growth, new joy. But that's how she looks at it. And in some ways that is true, because as you grow to do something else, there's something else that pops up and says, okay, now you got to grow some more. But on the other end of that, oh, how amazing it is to look at your life and see, wow, I really did that. I really made that happen. And I kind of had that experience, when I was wanting to start my podcast, because I wanted one for a long time. And all I could think about was how hard it would be, and how I didn't know enough to make it happen. How do I even believe that I am worthy of doing a podcast? Because I don't have this polished thing going on like a lot of these podcasters that I watch. I don't know how to do tech. I don't want to do tech. And so I had all these scenarios going on in my mind about how it wasn't possible for me, right? And then when I came across speaking faster than I'm thinking, or thinking faster than I'm speaking, I don't know which way it is. But when I came across Stacy's challenge, where it was the podcast challenge, I thought, okay, what's the worst that could happen? I start and I don't finish. Done that before. No biggie, right? But I did it, and I created my podcast, and oh my gosh, how much I love that podcast. And right now I've got 3 people I've just interviewed recently sitting in the queue, waiting to be processed and put into the system. And I say it like it's this big deal, and it's not. It's just, having the time or taking the time to sit and do the different things to put it where it needs to go. And so they're sitting there, but right now I've got like 75 episodes and I've been telling amazing stories and meeting amazing people, and I just cannot imagine my life today without it. And so embrace the change, however it shows up, because the things that you can learn and do and the people that you will meet in the process, oh, delicious, right? And that's what I love about this group, is because this group of people in Make Lasting Change, it's an amazing community of people that are like-minded, right? And so when you post something that this happened to me today, you'll have people that'll pop in and say, oh, congratulations, or they'll say, oh, I'm praying for you, whatever the scenario requires, right? And our thing in the group is to post our self-care for the day. And my self-care is every time I create an episode of my podcast, I feel like I am just allowing myself to just kind of blossom into something more. And I'm giving someone else the opportunity to tell their story in a different way, because maybe they've been on a whole bunch of podcasts, but each person that's doing the interviewing is a little bit different. And so I don't know, I haven't listened. Like I had someone on yesterday that's an author, and she's been on a lot of podcasts. She's got I think a TV show that may be coming up. There's so much coming up for her. And as I was interviewing her, or to me, it's not really an interview, it's a conversation. I even tell them, it's almost like we're sitting on my sofa in my living room. We got a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whatever is your favorite beverage, and we got a fire going, and we're just talking. And that's how it feels. And so I don't know, maybe in my conversation, I bring up something that they haven't said in another one. I don't know, because I haven't watched all of them, right? But I intuitively let the questions lead me in what I want to talk about. And so reason I'm telling you all this is to let you know that even though something that you want to do feels scary or feels like you can't make it happen, you don't know enough, there's not enough people that'll support you, or whatever's going on in your mind, let it go and embrace the change, however it shows up for you, because through that change, lets your petals, your flowers, your roots grow, and you can just blossom out into the most magnificent person, something that you've never even knew you were capable of. And for some people, that'll be huge, and some people not so big. It doesn't matter. Your journey is your journey. But embrace the change, however it shows up for you. Okay? We got a deal? Everybody ready for let's embrace our change? And put a 1 or say me in the comments, because without change, we're dying. We're not growing. We're reverting back to something that we used to be. And we want to create the person that we want to be. What is our God-given talents that we can share into the world? Just think about it. What if you, through doing these changes, say something to someone and it changes their life forever? It may not be a business. It doesn't matter. There are things and times that you say something to someone, and that's the one thing that they needed that helped them, even if you weren't doing it like for a business or to make money or to it was just something that you were led to say, and it helped somebody. Just think about that. You actually have that power within you. Just embrace the change. All right. So I would love to hear, is anybody ready to embrace the change in their lives, even if it's uncomfortable? Even if it's uncomfortable. Come on. Let me know. I hope so. And for those that are watching the replay, hashtag replay, make sure that you put that in there and tell me, are you ready to embrace the change, even if it's uncomfortable? Because change is going to happen. Working on it, yes. Because change is going to happen in your life. There is nothing and nobody that stays exactly the same. They're either changing in the direction that they want to change, or they're changing in the direction that is just them sitting in a boat on the ocean with no sail, no oars, no engine, and they're just letting the waves take them wherever the hell it goes. And some people like living a life like that. I like living a life where I set the sail in a certain direction. And that doesn't mean that I'm always rowing and always throwing on the engine. Maybe I set the sail and I let the sail help me get in that direction. Maybe it's not a straight line, but I'm actually going to where I want to be. And so we can either um, get our sails up and get a determination of how we want our life to be, or we let the waves take us wherever the hell it wants to go. All right, so let me get to the journal prompt. I've already forgot what it was. Okay, let's see. Our journal prompt is, what is one change you're currently facing and how can you embrace it more fully today? So I love this because it's not, what do I have to do? It's how can I embrace it, right? So we all have changes going on all the time. And hold on a second, pollen, gotcha. With my cooler coffee. So as you're journaling this, the one change that you're currently facing, maybe it would be a good time to also, write a little thing to yourself about how change can be good. Change, even if it's uncomfortable, just write a little scenario to yourself to help you feel into the fact that you can either embrace change and see it as something that's wonderful and exciting, or you can look at it as something that's daunting and holding you back. All right. So remember, the affirmation is, I embrace change however it shows up for me. Make sure you put that on your sticky note, your journal prompt, your sticky note, your index card. Make it a screensaver on your phone. Put it on your mirror with a chalk marker. Whatever works for you to make sure that you are seeing that, right? So the affirmation, once again, is, I embrace change however it shows up for me. And that's really an important part, however it shows up for me, right? And then the journal prompt, and what is one change you're currently facing and how can you embrace it more fully? Just brain dump as much as you can think of for that, even that one thing, that one change that you're currently facing. How can you embrace it more fully today? And put the date at the top. And I like to say, put the affirmation that goes with it and the journal prompt written there so that you can come back and see it another time. And one of the things that'll be really interesting is today you write out the one change you're currently facing and how can you embrace it more fully today. And then come back in a week or 2 weeks and see, is that even something that you're even worried about anymore? Maybe you've already created that change and you can see, how just looking at it in a different way and embracing it fully helps you to come up with solutions. Because what happens to a lot of the times is we're faced with something and all we can think of is the problem, the change that we're trying to make. All we can think of is that. And so you cannot create a solution when you're focused on the problem. And so when you're doing it this way, you're looking at, as you're doing it this way, you're looking at How can I create? And when you're looking for the point of how can you embrace it and create, then you've stepped away from the problem, the angst that's there. So your energy and your flow is totally different. It's like the things that will come up for you, the epiphanies, the synchronicities of the people that might reach out to you, the things that you decide to study, to look at. Maybe you get off here and you do this, and then suddenly some advertisement comes up for something that will help you. Maybe somebody will call you on the phone or reach out to you in a text message or messenger. It happens all the time. If you're embracing it and you're really looking at it more as a positive thing, synchronicities start to happen. And I would love to hear how that all happens for you. And I see Holly, that you are on here. Say hello to everybody if you don't mind. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's quite all right. I just see you I've got my phone over here so I can see people's name in case it doesn't pop up here. But as you're letting the energy and the excitement of change being a good thing, you stand different, you walk different, be the person that you want to be, even though you haven't gotten there yet. All right. So make sure you're journaling and you're putting your affirmations out, and let the synchronicities of life come to you by creating and embracing the change today. All right, so it is time for me to get off here today. And is there any questions or anything anybody has before I pop off that you might want a little clarity on? Is there something that I don't know. I just all of a sudden had this thought that maybe somebody wanted to say something, and I can help them with that really quick before I pop off. So I'll give that a minute to see what shows up. But just remember the feeling of anxiety and stress. If you really look at it, when you get excited, it's almost the same feel, the butterflies in the stomach, the kind of, the movement in your body and everything. So if you look at things as excitement instead of stress and anxiety, because that's what a lot of times stress and anxiety is. It is resistance to something that you're wanting to change, or the unknown of the outcome, right? And so if you can reframe that to, I'm kind of excited that I don't know what's happening right now. And sometimes that's a stretch, but start there. I don't know what the hell is happening, but I'm excited what is going to come from this. It changes the whole feel in your body, and it allows you to vibrationally bring in things that are better. Because remember, what we focus on is what we end up bringing in. So if we're focused on the anxiousness of change, there are more things that are going to show up for us to be anxious about. But if we're focusing on the excitement of change, exciting, wonderful things can come. So choose how you want things to show up. What do you want to show up? So embrace the change. Be excited. No matter where the change is coming from, no matter how it shows up for you, find the lesson in it. Find a way to learn something, to grow, and to become, right? All right, so it looks like there's not any questions right now. So if there are questions later, I will see them, because right now that's nothing showing up. And I will let you go about your day. It's not like I'll let you, but I'm going to go about my day. I have things that are calling my name right now as I'm looking at the clock. So be blessed and change on purpose. Get excited. Enjoy the change. Be blessed again. Love you guys. Oh, I almost forgot. Anybody that's watching this at a different place and they want to become part of Make Lasting Change where this community starts, it's amazing. If that is something that you want to be part of, you can ask to be part of the group. And I can't believe I almost forgot to say this. Go to vickiepoole.com. So that's vickiepoole.com, and some questions will populate for you to answer to be part of the group. Make sure you answer those questions because that's a hard, fast rule. If you don't take the time to answer the questions, I assume that you're really not going to be part of the community. You're not going to be engaging and helping and just being part of the community, right? But I do recognize that sometimes people start doing something and then they get distracted and something happens. So if somebody comes in and they don't answer the questions, I will send them a message that says, if you want to be part of the groups, thank you. Thank you for attempting to be part of the group, but please answer those questions to be admitted and I'll get you in right away, or however I say it in the moment. And I send that message to them. A lot of people come back and they answer those questions and they get admitted in the group. Those who do not, I give them a couple of days. And then if not, I just delete them. And because this group is so precious to me and I want everybody to be there that really wants to be there. And so to me, that shows a level of desire in the group. If somebody's not willing to answer the questions, the desire level is not where they would be a good fit for the group. So I say that to say, join us if that seems like something that you would like to do. Again, vickiepoole.com, vickiepoole.com. Join the Make Lasting Change group, where we will dive into a lot more. And we've got some really amazing guests coming up soon. And before I forget, the next one is next Wednesday on the 27th I'm looking at my calendar, at 8 p.m. Eastern. And she is actually going to give a one-to-one coaching session to a member of the Make Lasting Change group. So if you're part of the group, make sure you go in and say that you're definitely going to be there, because there's going to be a draw happening prior to her getting on live. And one of the people that is going to be there live that is in the Make Lasting Change group will actually win that session. And it's going to be powerful. She helps you to see where your energy in your body or in your environment may be stagnant. And so I look at it as almost like feng shui on steroids. It's a very different process. And it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see how she does that with one of our members. So if that seems like something you'd want to be part of too, join the group. All right. Be blessed. And I will promise you, this is only my third exit, but I'm exiting now. I promise. I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time with a new affirmation and journal prompt. Be here. Love ya.